Alright, I'm Anthony Longoria from Team Defiant, and this is our week 2 art integration video. For this week we focused more heavily on our outer courtyard levels as well as the tutorial again. It'd be better to just start a new game to show. For this week I plan to go on a more heavy walkthrough of the tutorial than in the previous week. So when you start, it shows you how to move. Go to the left to the dresser, get the key, press E to interact with it, E to open this door when you're ready. You see the message drops of the fruit plus 1 health. This is an active enemy. There are a few typos here and there, such as this one that says left mouse click when it should be right. So that will need to be corrected shortly after this video is up. To your right are the mono brazers. These were mentioned last week and showed in the project view. But now they have been integrated into their specific level hubs more heavily. Not every scene has them still, but almost every single scene does. All the mine levels have the correct dwarven brazier. So the past few notes talked about the shield again, the bow, switching to with tab, using left click to fire arrows, shift to dash, talks about magic, 2 more tabs, and 1 to make sure I have holy magic selected. As you can see as well, the book is not visible currently. That's due to us having the new player module, which came in at the end of last week. This week we just got the weapons, so we are currently integrating those in and making animations for those while we're at it. Switch back to the sword. So we also continue to work on the slimes, balancing them out, their behaviors. So not only do their visuals match and the basic slimes visuals match, they, as you can see, those now light up from there, but you have no way of actually getting that unless you leave those slimes alive, which that will be changed nonetheless. But hopefully this draws the player's attention. It mentions the pixie pool and healing. But as I was saying, we've changed the slime's behaviors to match their appearances more, such as the water slime being more stealthy, sitting there kind of waiting almost, doing nothing really until it's acted on. And then here's the new spawners. As you can see, they are in the shape of wells. When you destroy them, they spawn a destroyed version of themselves. That was one of the asset changes mentioned last week. For some reason, looking at these slimes, it would appear that some of them have been reverted, such as the one covering most of the screen, as they're only supposed to be slightly bigger than the smaller slimes. Don't know why I'm not using my shield against him. It would really help me here. There we go, another well down. Went over here to try and finish this guy before he finishes me. Grab the coin. Let me turn down the volume on my screen. Some steps over here. Player's visibility can always see where they're at. Pathway's been destroyed. You may have already missed the way out. The player can't use this to try and find a way somewhere else. You can see yourself beyond this wall. Begin coming up here, and that becomes visible as well. Oh, got hit by the wind slimes. The enemies have been balanced more closely to where they were supposed to have been previously before rollback. Before for last week. We had to undo that due to the rollback that I'd mentioned due to some technical difficulties. Super fruit, which is always a good find. Coin, I believe. There's no message or sound yet for the coins, which there will be in a future week. We have begun looking for audio clips to apply to that. There we go. Open spoiled fruit. The range on some of these will need to be fixed, such as those poison slimes. As you can see, they were fairly inactive even when I was right next to them. That was another issue we ran into this week, but it does not seem to change for that have stuck. You can run up to here to finish off these as well. The Earth Slime has those spikes around him which will break on contact with the player or with the player's weapons. If it hits the player and not the player's weapons, it will do damage to the player. That was integrated last week but was not heavily mentioned. We can leave that well for the sake of time. Oh, it spawned the Kamikaze that hit me. As the wells do have 3 currently spawns. They first spawn a wave of ice slimes, then Kamikazes, which are enemies that will chase the player and die when they hit the player. The player can stop them, but you would typically need to use a ranged attack to do so. The shield would be useless against them. And it's not letting me hit him. Nope, I was just missing. That was me. Nothing really new here though. We are planning on changing the materials for this Mega Slime. And possibly even its model. Yep, he helped to push me in, thankfully. This camera will need to be repositioned as it is slightly too tall. Over here we have a teddy bear on one of our team members' grave site. A few of these others have also been rewritten. Our producer gave them a mausoleum? No. I cannot for the life of me remember what the statues are called, but it's not a mausoleum. So after that, with our remaining 3 minutes and a half, it's on to what we've been working on for this week, which will be the outer courtyard levels. The rest of this week and possibly next week, we're planning on shortening down how many levels we have due to some feedback we've received. Opening up this scene. We can then, whoops, that was the wrong scene. I have shown you Bill and Daddy already. So, now the direction for the outer field. The outer field is an abandoned village settlement we've had in the game. I've shortened down how much of the scene there is here. Those will need to be reattached to their proper scripts. So there's much less space for the player to wander. I've added some stone path type circles along the ground for the player to see, hopefully. It's a little too fast for that, and I think he's a little too short for his collider, so we're just going to ignore him for now. Oh, random lava balls. Another thing that's been added is this little triggers to tell it the player needs to be able to see there now. So player visibility should hopefully be better. It doesn't allow the player to cheat through areas either. The colliders are capped. You can see. So, and then the rest of this week and next week, we plan on having it. Let me try and escape from this guy here. Oh, nope, shift. So we're going to use these houses made by the art team. There are other versions as well made. And with those, they will be replacing each of these houses. You can currently see the vegetation has been dropped down a bit more. And areas have been changed to hopefully pull the player's attention in, such as over here. A little exploration, go find chest. Same thing goes within some of these houses. The church, other buildings of the sort. Godseed. We may be, if we keep this level, we will likely be adding other sub-bosses to it. Currently it has the Mega Slime from the tutorial in the back stage of it, but nothing has really been changed there. So to make this a little faster, we're going to go to here. Nothing has changed so far in the armory been integrated. We may be shelving that scene. The quickest would be to show the drawbridge, which has been patched last time I checked. So now the Squire no longer causes the game to drop down to some 5 frames per second, and it's a viable fight. A well has been added here as well by the developer of the Squire. But beyond that, nothing else has heavily been touched in this scene. Moving our way, the next faster one would be open up this door. Don't know what happens with that. The checkpoints will need to be replaced in that scene as well. We shift across these broken bridges. The trees have been rearranged as well. The floor textures are being changed in scenes as I believe 2 of our team members go through them. There's this spider from the armory. It looks different, but it's the same spider, just with a new paint. That will also be getting a new model, I believe. And lastly, before we go too far over time, the outer courtyard, let's go to the survival dungeon. Not a huge amount has changed here either, I believe. Mostly rebalancing for these enemies. Some of these will be getting new skins, as that's been some of our feedback. Make our way through here. Avoid the little masher. The collider on this has been adjusted as well to make it easier for the player. Here's some of the older spawners that we have, as well as the crazed prisoner, who's a bit of an acrobat. If you get into the wrong position around him, he will do a slight flip. Leaving the project game view for the moment, so we can then go into, let me grab this scene real quickly, the lava mines, I believe. This is another scene that's been worked on. I need to save those changes. It may take a moment, as it is a pretty hefty level. One thing that's been implemented from last week is this dragon skin for the flying imps that drop items onto the players. The spawners have been changed in appearance and are now functional as well. That just about sums up most everything that we've worked on implementing this week, and a better playthrough for our tutorial. Thank you for your time. This was Team Defiant, and see you next week.